Hello, and welcome to La Baby Witch Tarot Podcast. And today we're going with another episode of Have You Ever Dated Someone That Hates You? Hola, bienvenido a mi podcast. Y hoy vamos a hablar sobre un tema que es interesantísimo. El tema se llama ¿Alguna vez has salido con alguien que te odia? And this may sound like odd for some people, but it's not as odd as you may think. Esta situación puede que suene como rara para algunas personas, pero no es tan rara como se piensa. As there's people out there who actually ask you out, perhaps date you, perhaps marry you, even have kids with you, and they do not like you. They hate your guts. And I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna explain what I mean. So, aunque suene raro, hay personas a veces que salen contigo nada más porque te encuentran atractivo físicamente o atractiva físicamente. Pero literalmente odian tu personalidad de arriba abajo. Pero a veces estas personas, al igual sabiendo que no les caes muy bien, ellos deciden salir contigo, tener una relación contigo, a veces se casan contigo y a veces hasta hacen o pueden tener hijos, ¿me entiendes? And this could be a narcissist person as well as somebody who's just like selfish. And I'm going to tell you the difference in a minute. Esto puede ser porque la persona con la que estás saliendo, si te identificas o conoces a alguien que se identifique con esto, la persona con la que la persona está saliendo o tú estás saliendo puede ser un narcisista o una persona totalmente bien egoísta, por decirlo. So first of all, how do you know? First of all, you are not their type. So if you were to look at their past relationships or even love interests, you notice that you are not their type. For example, they used to date very blonde people or females or males, and then you are the total opposite, like, brunette, brown eyes, and da 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 da. So out of that, you're not like the special one. You are just somebody who is not his type or not her type. Then you will ask, why do they settle down for that or for the opposite? It's because the people that they could want, in a way, shape, or form, they consider them out of their league, or because they find them so attractive, they just don't dare to go for them. So they go for someone who they consider approachable. Vamos a suponer que tú estás saliendo con esta persona y cuando tú miras en su historial de relaciones o las personas que algún día le han interesado como sus crush y eso, ¿verdad? Te miras que la persona que a ellos les gusta o mayormente salen, pueden ser rubios, con ojos azules, y viene y se acerca a ti y dice que quiere salir contigo, pero tú eres de pelo marroncito, ojos marroncitos, y tú dices, wow, soy la persona especial. No eres la persona especial. Número uno, no eres su tipo para nada. ¿Pero por qué se acerca a ti? ¿Por qué? Porque quizás las personas con las que él o a ella le interesa, ellos en su mente consideran que están fuera de su liga, o se sienten tan atraídos a ese tipo de personas, ¿verdad? Que se sienten, ¿cómo se dice?, intimidados o intimidadas. Ellos deciden acercarse a la persona que ellos consideran más cómodo para acercarse. Now, this situation out of the bat is horrendous, right? And how do you know you're in it, right? So obviously what I told you first. So let's say that you guys are going out in a date, and this person automatically is going to ask you to pay 50-50. Now, there's a new thing for men, especially, right? Into where they ask you 50-50. But I want to tell you what's the difference there. First of all, it's not entirely horrible to do 50-50, right? But somebody who's interested in you, right away, asking you out, asking you for 50-50, now you know that in the whole relationship, if there's any relationship, it's going to be 50-50. And probably every year is going to be less and less, at least on their part. Why are they asking you 50-50? Because they're only 50% attracted to you. Yes, you heard that right. They're asking you 50-50 because they're only 50% attracted to you. They're not 100% attracted to you. Okay? And that's why they're asking you 50-50, because they're only doing exactly what they are feeling like doing, because in their head, they feel that you're not worth paying the whole meal for. And the funny thing, these people, especially sometimes dudes, sadly, they act like you have never eaten before. These dudes, you have to tell them, baby, I have been eating since I was out of my mom's, the JJ when she pushed me out. I know food. So these dudes who do that, they make you feel like you have never eaten before, that you have never paid for a full meal for yourself. Broke ass people. Whoever thinks like that, they're broke. Not only financially, but also emotionally, and you should not invest. Ahora, le estaba diciendo a ellos que como tú sabes que estás en una situación de una persona que no le gustas y que quizás te odie, pero obviamente lo que te dije primero. Pero ahora, vamos a suponer que vayan para una cita, la primera cita, ¿verdad? Y esta persona te dice, vamos a hacer 50 y 50. Yo no estoy en contra de 50 y 50, pero la primera cita no debe ser así. Ahora, ¿por qué este tipo de persona te va a invitar a salir y te va a pedir 50 y 50? ¿Por qué? Porque solamente está interesado o interesada en ti un 50%. Tú no le gustas 100% para poner el 100% de lo que sea que vayan a comer, donde vayan a salir. Ahora, sabiendo esa información, si tú decides seguir con esta persona, ¿verdad? Vas a saber que la relación solamente estará dispuesto o dispuesta a darte un 50% de todo lo que puedes tener. Y lo puedes buscar en las redes sociales, en el cual una relación tiende a cambiar, ¿verdad? Especialmente en esta sociedad tan difícil de encontrar una pareja permanente. Ahora, lo más probable, debido a que empieza así, cada año, cada mes que ustedes pasen juntos, esta persona va a hacer menos y menos por ti. ¿Por qué? Porque en realidad no está 100% interesado en ti. Now, before I continue, I want to make sure to put my point out correctly. I am okay with 50-50 if you have been in a relationship with this person. Like, if you guys been together for a minute, thin and thick, it's perfectly fine to do 50-50 at times. But on the first date, it is not. Because on the first date, that's when you see how far and how much you can expect out of the person. Now, this is just for some people. Now, I do know that this opinion and this fact, sadly, makes some people upset, especially some men. Now, this is how I break this down. If you know you're not that kind of man, you don't need to cry about it, because only the people or men who will get mad about it is because whatever I said, if it's negative in their eyes, literally what? Little define them. So if you know this, what I just said does not define you, you don't need to say, hey, I don't think that's correct, because at the end of the day, if you know it's not you, let's continue, right? So yo estaba diciendo que cuando yo digo ese tipo de comentarios de que 50 y 50 está mal, yo no me refiero si estás en una relación ya de muchos años. Pues obviamente 50 y 50, si así lo deciden, está bien. Pero si es empezando la relación y especialmente la primera cita, un 50% no está bien, porque ahí es que tú te das cuenta lo que esta persona va a hacer por ti. Cuando yo hago este tipo de comentarios, mucha gente, especialmente los hombres, se molestan conmigo. Pero como yo siempre lo digo, lo explico de esta manera. Si tú sabes que esto que yo dije no te define a ti, no tienes por qué molestarte y decir, oh, que esto está mal. Porque las personas que se molestan sobre un punto que es general es porque literalmente ese punto los define a ellos y se sienten atacados. A menos que yo diga un nombre, esto es general, y si sabes que no, como yo le digo a ellos, si sabes que no te define, síguelo caminando, ¿verdad? Another thing is that these people that often do not like you, they actually want to move pretty fast in a relationship. And you may ask, but it makes no sense. It literally does not make sense. But the thing is, like, they're so not interested in you that they think that moving fast and compromising with you, and this is like quote, compromising with you faster, is gonna show you and show them that they really want this. Hopefully in their mind they think this is gonna grow, and it's because they know that it could be obvious that they may not be as into you. So by compromising with you faster, they feel like you are going to trust them and that you're not going to suspect anything. And this also could be gaslighting themselves into thinking that, yes, I want you, right? Ahora, cuando tú te encuentras con este tipo de gente que salen contigo pero tú no les caes bien y no les gusta, ellos a veces se quieren comprometer contigo bien rápido, como hacerse novio después de 2 días, vivir juntos, like moving in, like vivir juntos rapidito. Y tú me preguntas, pero Michelle, pero es que no hace sentido. Y literalmente no. Lo que pasa es que ellos saben que ellos solamente te han atraído a ti un 50%. So, ellos tratan de mentirse a sí mismos y mentirte a ti, pensando que si se comprometen contigo y se mueven rápido, no solamente eliminan sospechas en ti, porque tú puedes sospechar de que no les gusta, pero ellos quieren eliminar esa sospecha, a la misma vez quieren engañarse ellos mismos en creer y hacerte creer que de verdad te quieren, y por eso es que se mueven bien rápido. Another thing is, like, they're never happy for you. They're never happy for you no matter what you do. So literally they're gonna settle down for you because this is in their mind what they could have. right? This does not take away that you can be as beautiful, as attractive as you can be, okay? You can be the hottest human being on earth, and this person is going to make you feel like a cockroach, okay? Because they do not like you, and the fact that they don't like you, but they settle down for you in a sick way because they're very immature, they're going to blame you for that. So they're going to punish you by treating you like you are less than what you are. And this is going to actually have you beg for their acceptance, continuously pushing boundaries, especially yours, and to continue to try to actually get their approval. But you're never gonna get it because them in their head said you're not gonna get my approval, because it's nothing to do with you, it's everything to do with their insecurities, and they cannot be an adult about it and tell you what's good. Ahora, cuando estás con estas personas, ¿verdad? Estas personas te van a hacer la vida imposible, y no importa lo que tú hagas en tu vida por ellos o en la relación, nunca va a ser suficiente. Ahora, ellos, como saben que no están atraídos a ti, y ellos piensan en su mente, dicen, oh, yo solamente me quedé con esta persona porque es lo que puedo tener. No importa si tú eres la mujer o el hombre más atractivo del mundo, y puedes ser querido por todo el pueblo, ¿verdad? Pero esta persona te va a hacer sentir como una cucaracha. ¿Por qué? Porque esta persona es tan inmadura y tan incapaz de hablar claro, porque es un narcisista, porque es un egoísta. No te va a decir, oh, vamos a terminar, ¿verdad? Lo que va a hacer es estar contigo, y todos los días te va a hacer la vida infeliz y miserable. Y lo que va a hacer es que tú crees codependencia y cada vez pidas o actúes de una manera para llegar a que él o ella te acepte, como que pedir su aceptación y su aprobación, lo que a ellos les gusta, porque le llena su ego, y por eso es que se queda, porque dice, oh, ok, la trato mal o lo trato mal, pero ella o él sigue intentando abusar, literalmente abusando de ti emocionalmente. Literally, what I just told you is emotional abuse, and that's what they do. They don't have to hit anybody. They just got to destroy your mind. That's where we are the strongest or the weakest. Now, with this said, every time you guys have an argument, because, you know, couples, even the most healthy couples, they do have arguments. It's part of life. But whenever you guys have arguments, they're going to disrespect your physical appearance. Yep, because they want to make sure that your self-worth is nowhere to be found. Yeah, that's when you know you're dating someone who hates you. And keep in mind that, yes, like I said before, couples do fight. But when you're in love with somebody, you care for somebody, you love somebody, you do not insult them physically. You do not. Because you do not want your person to feel less of a person, right? Right? So when you're mad and they're like throwing stuff with their words, and they're insulting you physically, they know that it's making you insecure, and they're telling you this is because that's how they really view you. Hear what they say to you when they're angry, because that's when you know how somebody really, really views you. Right? When somebody is purposely hurting your feelings, especially when they're talking about your physical appearance, when they're angry, it's because that's how they view you on a daily basis. But that day is the day they felt like telling you. So that's when you also know you're dating somebody who does not like you, who does not love you, who hates you in a way to perform. Ahora, otra cosa que pasa es cuando tú estás con una persona así, están peleando. Y una cosa, las parejas, hasta las más saludables, pelean. Eso es totalmente normal. Pero cuando tú peleas con una persona así, ellos aprovechan ese momento para insultarte físicamente. Te dicen de las cosas más peores, desde tu cara hasta tu cuerpo. ¿Por qué? Porque ellos quieren asegurarse de tu confianza y que tu seguridad como persona no exista. Ellos quieren destruir tu autoestima. ¿Por qué? Porque le hace sentir bien. Ahora, una cosa es cuando tú estás peleando con el amor de tu vida o con tu pareja, y si tú los quieres o las quieres, tú no le vas a tirar nada contra su físico. ¿Por qué? Porque tú sabes que le va a hacer sentir mal. Ahora, cuando una persona con todo el coraje te dice exactamente lo que no le gusta de ti físicamente, es porque es como te ve todos los días. Pero ese día específicamente que estaba molesto contigo, aprovechó para decirte la verdad. A veces hay que escuchar lo que nos dicen en momentos de coraje. Yo con mi pareja jamás en la vida lo he escuchado a él o él ha escuchado de mí que yo le falte respeto físicamente. ¿Por qué? Porque jamás en la vida ninguno de los dos vamos a querer que ninguno de los dos se sienta mal. Porque nosotros de verdad nos amamos. Pero una persona persona que no te ama, no le va a importar cómo te haga sentir. Now, another thing is when you're dating somebody that hates you in a way, shape, or form, they're always gonna be mad at your accomplishments. Everything you do for work, for let's say that you're working and you get a promotion, they're mad. If you get a new job, they're mad. If you have, let's say, abilities that you're able to get, jobs because of, like, for example, you have things or you do things that they don't, right? So for example, back in the day when I was with my narcissistic ex, I am bilingual. So I was actually able to get jobs that allowed me to grow because I spoke 2 languages. He did not. So he will always say to me, you always get better jobs than me, I don't get it. And he will always get mad at me because I was bilingual and he wasn't. So for example, that's an example of somebody who does not love you, who is jealous and envious of you and dislikes you in a way to perform. So whenever you have an accomplishment, this person always puts you down, gets mad, or tells you that, oh my gosh, you're always thinking that you're better than me. Like always, like taking it the wrong way, right? So when that happens, it's because they don't like you. So they're annoying. They feel annoyed when they hear that good things happen to you, that you're appreciated elsewhere, because they don't want you to feel appreciated, because they're just narcissistic, selfish people who does not like you, and they're immature, and they cannot tell you that they just don't want to be with you. You know what I'm saying? So otra cosa es que cuando tú estás en un trabajo, vamos a suponer que tú logras cosas, que obtienes promociones, que te aumentaron el sueldo, que no sé, tienes una habilidad, por ejemplo, hablas 2 idiomas y esto te ayuda a conseguir trabajos y plazas, ¿verdad? Y posiciones que quizás la otra persona no, porque quizás no es lo mismo, no hace lo mismo que tú o no tiene las mismas habilidades que tú. Y cada vez que tú tienes un trabajo o haces algo fuera de tu casa, ellos se molestan. Y vamos a suponer que tú quieres hablar de lo que te pasó en tu día o lo que adquiriste y se molestan contigo y dicen, ay, ya cállate, o te dicen, ay, ya, siempre te crees mucho. ¿Sabes lo que pasa ahí, mi amor? Literalmente, ellos no quieren que tú te sientas apreciada o apreciado fuera de tu casa. Su trabajo es hacerte sentir mal, y el saber que tú eres apreciada y querida o apreciado y querido en otros lados, eso les molesta. Por eso es que no se sienten felices cuando escuchan que cosas buenas te pasan. Yo di un ejemplo cuando yo estaba con mi ex pareja narcisista. Cuando yo llegué a Estados Unidos, yo hablo 2 idiomas, inglés y español. Y cuando yo trabajaba en una factoría, en una fábrica, a mí se me dieron oportunidades de crecer. ¿Por qué? Porque yo hablaba 2 idiomas, que era bien necesario. Había bien poca gente que hablara español y yo hablaba inglés y español, ¿verdad? Anteriormente, cuando yo llegué recién a Estados Unidos, yo hablaba más español que inglés, ¿verdad? Pero anyways, adquirí un trabajo y adquirí una posición con mejor paga que la de mi ex, y él empezó a molestarse y decir que yo me quiero mejor que él, que yo era esto, insulto tras insulto. ¿Por qué? Porque a él le molestaba que a mí me fuera bien fuera de mi casa, a él le molestaba que a mí me apreciaran y me trataran bien fuera de mi casa, porque el trabajo de él era hacerme sentir como poca cosa, ¿ok? Y eso a veces pasa cuando te casas con una persona que tú no eres su tipo, que ellos no te quieren, te hacen sentir así. Now, another thing is that no matter everything, let's say that every time they're telling you that you need to change this, that you need to change that, and you do it because you love them, it's never good enough. So when you're with somebody that makes you feel that you're never good enough, that nothing is good, that is because they don't want you. They just are settling down for you. And the thing is, like, this is so dangerous for you because it's going to break you as a human being. Right? You're not going to be capable of enjoying days. You're not going to be capable of doing a lot of things. So whenever this happens, especially early in the relationship, right? It's important to reconsider if this is a relationship you want to invest in. Everybody has the opportunity to change, but if you bring something up to their attention and they are denying it, they're not accepting it, they're not changing, just know that if you choose to stay, the situation never gets better. It just if you're lucky, it stays the same, but often gets worse. So, lo más importante también es que estas personas te hacen trabajar tanto para su aprobación, y nada de lo que tú hagas, aunque lo hagas como te lo pidan, es suficiente para ellos. Y lamentablemente cuando esto pasa al principio de una relación, es bien importante tomarlo en consideración, porque casi siempre, si tienes suerte, se mantiene igual, pero casi siempre se pone peor. So, los dos lados, las dos oportunidades de que se quede igual o se ponga peor son malos. So, si sientes que estás en una relación así, considéralo, porque nunca mejora. Sí creo que las personas pueden cambiar, pero ya cuando están en ese nivel hay que buscar ayuda como un terapista de pareja, o si es a principio de la relación es mejor que no te metas más nada en esa relación porque no vale la pena. Now, with this said, let's talk about when the situation ends. So often, a lot of people, right, end up their situation, like the person who feels like they're not appreciated gets to a point into like they can't do it no more. And the minute you break up with this person, they eventually will find someone, and that someone they're going to find is exactly their type. My ex did not like brown skin girls. I'm brown, okay? I'm not too dark, I'm not too light. And I was his first, like he said, morenita. Like he will call me brown girl. That's how he will call me in Spanish. So I was his first one, according to him, right? All the girls that he liked, they were blonde, light skin, or light skin with like black straight hair. I was the total opposite. You guys have seen me, right? So with this said, when I broke up with him because I couldn't take the disrespect anymore, back, and when divorce and all that, he went with another girl. And this girl was exactly what his history was. And then he tells me that he never liked me, that I'm ugly without makeup, that I was never attractive to him, but I was just there because I had a nice body, because he liked that I was actually, quote, a good woman that will actually take care of him. He told me all these things, and it sounded like he liked me because I was a maid, right? And then he tells me, the last thing he told me, that he was glad my son was not my skin color. Yes, he told me that my son, he was glad that my son, which is his son, right? But he said, I'm glad that your son, because he said it like that your son, that's what he said to me. He was glad that he was glad that my son was not my skin color because he disliked my skin color. And then he goes ahead and disrespects my dad because of his skin color in my dad's side of the family, because all of my dad's side of the family, most of them are dark skinned. So he goes ahead and disrespects my dad, myself, and my dad's side of the family with horrendous things that I'm not going to mention. And then he says that the only thing he doesn't like about my son is that my son has curly hair like me. So let me tell you something. When you break up with this person, or they break up with you, they're going to tell you exactly what they don't like, and that's when you know they never treated you well because they did not like you. And I'm telling you, this is not just my opinion, this is not just me telling you. You could be dealing with a narcissist again, and this is a lot of, like, I've done a lot of readings and on people, and whenever the people decide to move on or so, the person they were with that were treating them very poorly goes with somebody completely opposite, and then they will tell them that they're so bad and da. So I'm gonna tell you, I'm trying to save you time. So again, people who treat you badly and poorly and they don't even do the bare minimum for you is because they don't like you. And honestly, when I heard that, when he told me that about me, about my appearance, about my dad specifically, about my skin tone, about my son, that really pissed me off. It did not hurt me, it pissed me off. And then it gave me that, like, oh my gosh, Michelle, you shouldn't have wasted 5 years of your life with this person. And that's when he hit me, that why he treated me so bad. Literally, I will cry my eyes out, beg him to treat me like a human being because I couldn't take the disrespect. I was pregnant and I will work. I had to work all the way to my 9 months, and I couldn't even do much because I was so swollen. And he told me, if you don't work, I'm not paying the birth of your child. Because every single day of my life when I was pregnant, he called our child my child. Because he said, that's your child. Always treated me like I was an outsider. And I'm gonna tell you something. You don't dare to cry and beg for love and respect. Because when they don't give you that, it's because they don't fucking want to. I wish I could go back in time and give myself a hug. Because I was in my early 20s alone in a freaking country that I did not have any friends because he wouldn't let me have friends. And he will tell me that if I didn't like how he will talk to me, I could take my stuff and walk out of the apartment and be outside like a dog. That's his words. Every time I will cry, every time I will say something, he said, take your stuff, go out and be outside like a dog. He will call me a dog. So I'm going to tell you something. Do not settle down for a man or a female who does not care for you, because I'm going to tell you that they destroy you as a person. And after my divorce and my separation, I took 2 years to get back up and become the person I am today. I'm gonna tell you, when somebody does not see your value, it doesn't freaking matter how much you do, they just don't. Narcissistic people do not change unless they seek therapy. And often they don't, because in their mind, they're not wrong. Ahora, como yo le decía a ellos, al fin y al cabo, cuando uno está con este tipo de personas no vale la pena. No importa lo que tú hagas, nunca va a ser suficiente. Y yo le estoy comentando a ellos que me pasó a mí. Yo cuando estuve con mi narcisista, con el ex mío narcisista, cuando yo terminé la relación, porque yo no podía con el abuso emocional que él tenía conmigo, él me dijo a mí, una cosa, cuando yo terminé la relación, ¿verdad? Él rápido se fue con una muchacha que era exactamente como las mujeres que a él le gustaban anteriormente, clarita, con pelo lacio, y lo que él me dijo a mí fue, yo a ti nunca te quise, tú eres fea sin maquillaje, no eres atractiva, a mí no me gusta tu color de piel, porque yo soy la primera, a él le gustaban las mujeres blanquitas, y yo soy una muchacha pues morenita, ¿verdad? Y dice que a mí no me gustaba, solamente me quedé contigo por tu cuerpo, me dijo, me quedé contigo porque tú me tratabas bien, me quedé contigo por las cosas que tú hacías por mí, pero a mí tú no me gustabas, eres bien fea, un montón de insultos, ¿verdad? Y después se atreve a insultar a mi papá por su color de piel, y después se atreve a insultar a mi familia de parte de mi papá, porque la familia de parte de mi papá casi todos son morenitos. Nos insultó a toditos por nuestro color de piel, y después me dice a mí que él estaba feliz que mi hijo no tuvo mi color de piel, porque dice que se abochornaba. Como yo te digo, las personas así no valen la pena, y las personas así no cambian. Y yo me quedé en shock, y ahí fue yo que me di cuenta que esta persona, este hombre, me trató siempre mal porque yo no le gustaba, porque yo no era el tipo de mujer que él quería, pero nunca me dejó ir. ¿Por qué? Porque yo hacía todo lo posible para que él me aceptara, y nunca fue suficiente y nunca lo iba a hacer. Y cuando yo estaba embarazada de mi bebé, él siempre me decía, ese es tu hijo, tú tienes que cuidarlo, si tú no trabajas yo no voy a pagar el plan médico. Siempre me dejó sola. Yo era madre soltera aún en una relación. ¿Me entiendes? Nunca te quedes con una persona que no te aprecia. Nunca te quedes con un hombre que no te aprecia. Nunca te quedes con una mujer que no te aprecia. Yo me acuerdo llorando, yo tan jovencita llorándole a este estúpido para que me amara, para que me tratara bien. Por favor, no me grites, por favor, no me trates mal, por favor. Yo llorando, y siempre se reía y me decía a mí, si a ti no te gusta como yo te hablo, me decía él a mí, y si a ti no te gusta como yo te trato, coge tus cosas y vete, me decía, y te quedas en la calle como el perro que era. Así me decía, como la perra que yo era, así me decía. Y siempre que le molestaba algo de mí, o siempre que yo decía algo que a él no le gustara, me decía que me fuera de la casa o del apartamento, y que yo no tenía nada ni a nadie, que a mí nadie me quiere, y que me quedara afuera como un perro en el frío. Y yo en mis 20 añitos llorándole a un tonto que era mayor que yo, que le gustaba tratarme mal. Y al fin y al cabo ahí fue que me di cuenta que él no me quiso nunca. No te aguantes estupideces de ningún hombre o ninguna mujer. No dejes que te maltraten. No trabajes por el amor de nadie, porque el que no te quiera dar amor no te lo va a dar nunca. ¿Entiendes? Yo espero que este tipo de podcast, si conoces a alguien, si te puedes identificar, pues mira, mi amor, mereces mejor. Esto es solamente unas cositas de mi opinión, unas cosas de que yo he vivido, unas cosas que puedes encontrar en las redes sociales, pero nada, solamente un podcast educativo. También te di un poquito de story time, pero nada, espero que les haya gustado. So this is the end. I hope you guys liked it. This was just a little bit of a story time, a little bit of my opinion, other things, So I hope you guys liked it. Love you guys so much and have an amazing day. Los quiero mucho, mi amor, y tengan una noche espectacular.